Hello everybody. Today we're going to cook noodles in 1 minute, in 1 hour, and in 1 day. Our minute has started. During this time, you can manage, except that, to brew ready-made noodles. Open it up and add some spices. Pour in some boiling water. And after waiting a little bit, we have some ready noodles. Let's try it. These noodles don't taste delicious at all. Now we will cook noodles in 1 hour. We need some chicken eggs. We break off 5 pieces. Pour 200 grams of flour onto the table, and we catch only the yolks with our hands. Then we're gonna make a little funnel in the flour and fill it with our yolks. Here's a little bit of olive oil, salt, and we begin to knead, first with a fork, and then with our hands. The egg dough is ready. Wrap it in film and let it rest for 15 minutes. Then sprinkle some flour onto the table. We take out the rested dough and roll it out with a rolling pin. Once we have a large layer of dough, we begin to fold it. And cut it into strips. Now we just need to straighten out the noodles and just tossing with our fingers. And throw that on to cook. This is not dry pasta, so they cook way faster. Literally 2 minutes can be drained through a colander. Cut off the pulp from a red pepper. And cut it into small strips. Next, we have the carrot. We plate it out so we have such small layers. And then into small strips. Last up, we have chicken thighs. Cut them into pieces. Pour some oil into a frying pan. And we'll fry up our chicken first. A little layer, we add our vegetables. Let's fry them for just a couple of minutes. And all right, next, we'll make a ketchup-based sauce. Use some hot sauce sriracha, teriyaki sauce, chili pepper, ground black pepper, and red. It remains to mix it well, and the sauce is ready. We send this into our wok. And now we add the egg noodles and mix it for the last time. Now let's remove it from the stove and transfer it into a bowl. And just like that, our 1 hour noodles are ready. Now we just need to dry them. Yeah, these noodles are 10 times tastier than the last ones. They're like sweet, sour, and spicy. Well, let's move on to the noodles that are going to take us a whole day to prepare. Especially for this, we prepared a parcel with Chinese products with a lot of interesting things inside of it. We open it up. And the first thing that we see are these black beans. We're going to make a special paste out of them. We open them and pour them into a bowl. Fill this with water and leave this in the form to soak for as long as 8 hours. The next thing from our Chinese box is sesame oil. We will fry everything on this, and it has an unusual flavor. Let's grate some ginger directly into the pan. Add a small hot pepper. Drain the remaining water from the black beans. And throw them into the frying pan as well. First, fry them a little bit. And then fill it with water. This also includes soy sauce, sugar, and vinegar. Cook the beans until they finally become soft. Then pour the contents of the frying pan into a blender. Grind it all into a paste. Done. Now pour the bean paste into a bowl. The next lot is this Chinese kansui powder. This is an alkali for the dough, which makes it very viscous. We open it and pour 30 grams into a bottle. Pour 70 milliliters of cold water in. We close the bottle and shake it so that it dissolves into the powder and water. We will also need Chinese flour with a high gluten content. We send 1 kilogram to the bowl. Pour half a liter of cold water in, and here we add half of our mixture with kansui powder, 20 grams of salt, and put this under the mixer. We're going to knead our dough for 30 minutes. Now wrap it up in film and throw it into the fridge for 2 hours. It's already rested. Pour some oil onto the table. We open up the dough. Put it on top of the oil. Flatten it out. Pour on the water with kansui powder for elasticity. And knead it. It feels like this dough is more like a huge gum. We're gonna turn this into like a sausage type thing. Stretch it out at the sides as if hitting the table. Then we twist it into a pigtail. Fold it twice more, and repeat the same action for another 10 minutes. Thanks to this, the dough will stretch even better. Then we cut it into smaller pieces. Cover it with a film and let it rest for 10 minutes. We take one piece, sprinkle it with Chinese flour, and roll it into a tube. Then we stretch it out. Fold it 2 times, stretch even harder, fold again, stretch, and repeat this several more times. And you're left with these really thick noodles. We're gonna put this on to cook. These types of noodles cook for literally 30 seconds. Now drain it into a colander. And now we go back. In order for the noodles not to stick together, we add some sesame oil. And mix. For the filling, cut an onion into large pieces. And a leek, we cut down the center. And we dice it. Next, we have bell mushrooms. Each mushroom is cut into 4 parts. Fresh ginger. First, we peel it with a spoon. We cut it first into thin slices. And then mega thin straws. Pork belly. We're going to cut it to the exact same principle. Done. We're also going to use shrimp and squid for these noodles, but first they need to be boiled. Literally 30 seconds, then we get them out. Done. Now we take our bean paste. You're also going to need some oyster sauce. Chicken bouillon cubes, monosodium glutamate. It is used all the time in Asia. Sesame oil, and let's go out. We'll use a reactive oven like this to cook. But first we need to chop some firewood into small chips. So we open up the compartment for firewood. We ignite some dry fuel. And drop it in. You can throw in some shards of wood. This compartment can be closed, but the air vent, on the contrary, is open. The fire is lit, and you can pour some sesame oil into the wok. First, fry up the pork. Then our onions and leeks, and mix. Pour in some soy sauce. For flavor, ginger, mushrooms, and seafood. Fry all this on the Megasol fire. A little sugar. Oyster sauce. Granulated chicken bouillon. Monosodium glutamate to enhance the taste. And a little bit of our bean paste. Now mix it up again. Fill this all up with water. Also, you need to dilute a little bit of starch in the water. And pour it into the wok too, so that the sauce becomes thicker. It's time to add the noodles. And finally, we cut the green onions. Transfer them into the wok. And mix it for final time. And with that, it's ready. Now it can be transferred into a bowl. Hello everyone. There are lots of varieties of pizzas in the world. We will prepare 3 of them today and compare them. Let's start with the Italian margarita. For the dough, 270 grams of wheat flour in a bowl, plus 30 grams of whole grain. We send ice into some water. In total, you should get 200 milliliters. Pour that into the bowl. A little dry yeast, salt, sugar, and knead it up. Pour some olive oil into a bowl. Just the dough has already been taken out. We put it into a bowl. We cover it with cling film so that it doesn't get any winded. And we send it into the refrigerator for 12 hours. Now let's make the sauce. Open up some peeled cherry tomatoes and pour that into a mortar. These need to be crushed. Now cut up an onion. And finally chop some red basil. Put a frying pan under the stove, pour some olive oil in, and fry the onion just until transparent. Pour in the crushed cherry tomatoes, red basil, dried oregano, freshly ground pepper, and of course, salt and sugar. Now you just gotta mix it up. Reduce that for literally 5 minutes, and the sauce is ready. For the filling, cut the tomato into circles. Preheat the oven to the maximum in advance, as much as it can give out, and send a special pizza stone onto it. The dough is already risen, so we dust the table with flour. Also on top of our dough. And just crush it out with your hands. It is so soft that even a rolling pin isn't really needed here. Our stone is warmed up. We spread the dough out on top. From the hot stone, the pizza base begins to swell and cook right away. We lubricate it with our tomato sauce. Then tomato slices. And in the end, we tear some mozzarella cheese with our hands and spread it out evenly on the surface of the pizza. Now this all can be sent into the oven. It is very hot here, so literally 5 minutes and it's ready. You can pull it out. We spread the basil out on the Italian pizza margarita is ready. Let's cut off a piece. And try it. This is a totally classic Italian pizza with awesome sauce and dough. For taste, 8 out of 10. Now we're going to choose which pizza to cook next, and it will be the pizza stromboli from the USA. In warm water, we send some yeast, sugar, salt, and mix. A kilogram of flour into the bowl, and here's some olive oil as well. And as soon as the yeast has started working, we pour in the liquid. And we knead the dough. Done. We cover this with plastic wrap and leave it in a warm place. For the filling, we will use provolone cheese. Open it up and cut it into slices. We also cut some mozzarella cheese. And grate some Parmesan on a fine grater. For the meat, we're going to use some bresaola and ham. And we're also going to need some capers. For this pizza, the sauce is quite simple. We send some tomato paste, dried basil, dried garlic, oregano, salt with sugar, and olive oil into the saucepan. Stir it up, and our sauce is ready. Our dough is risen. Now we knead it. We dust the table with flour. A lump of dough on top. And roll it into a thin layer. We're going to cut the edges in such a way that the result is a square. Spread out the sauce. And smear. We spread out some mozzarella cheese. Ham. Provolone cheese. Bresaola. Grated Parmesan cheese. And finally, capers. From all sides, we bend the dough by a couple of centimeters and roll it all into a roll. We transfer this onto a baking sheet, and we make incisions from above. We dip a brush into a neck wash and lubricate the dough so that it has a golden crust. Sprinkle some more Parmesan cheese on top. And send it into the oven. Just 20 minutes and our American pizza stromboli is ready. Let's cut off a piece. It looks fine. We just need to try. For taste, it is a 10 out of 10, thanks to the delicious types of meat and the 3 types of cheese. It's time for our last pizza, and we're gonna make a pizza cake from Canada. We rolled out a large layer of dough and cut it into 4 parts. One part is transferred over to parchment paper. On top of an iron ring, and we cut the dough around it. We're left with an almost even circle, and so we shift this onto a baking sheet. We make 4 such things like that, and send them all into the oven. The cakes turned out pretty well, but they swelled up a lot, so we flattened them with a board. For the filling, we'll use tomatoes. Use a grater to grate some cheddar cheese. And we're going to use pepperoni, pancetta, and salami. We will also fry some aranjo mushrooms. They need to be gilded a little. Add some whiskey for flavor. And finally, barbecue sauce. Now to spread it around so it envelops each mushroom. Mushrooms are glazed and they're ready for this. And in general, the whole filling is also ready. The pizza sauce can be made sharper by adding some red pepper and Tabasco. Now it just needs to be mixed up. And we can put together a pizza cake. On the first cake, we apply hot tomato sauce and smear it all over the surface. We spread out some cheddar cheese, pancetta, mushrooms in the barbecue sauce, a second cake layer, sauce, cheese, pepperoni sausages, and tomatoes for juiciness. The third cake layer, sauce, cheese, salami, and the fourth cake slice. And again, sauce, cheese, tomatoes, mushrooms, and salami. Now we'll use the same dough as for the second pizza. We roll out a rather thick, large layer from it. And we make holes with a fork so that it increases evenly. We cover all our layers with this layer. We distribute it out and cut off the excess dough. Done. Now it just needs to be washed with an egg. It's sent into the oven. Now we just need to add some cheddar cheese, and pepperoni on top. We send this into the oven for literally just another 5 minutes. This is how our Canadian pizza turned out. Let's cut off a piece. Wow, this looks awesome.